a father to the fatherless,
and a defender of widows.
His garden, His holy dwelling. God sets the lonely in families.
He leads out the prisoners with singing.
The education system in Tanzania is a little complex, and it kind of is to the disadvantage of a child that grows up in a remote village, because the test that they take to go into the next level after grade 7 is in English, and they've not had enough training or understanding of English to have any chance to pass this test. When a child is not able to continue their education, it places them in a very vulnerable situation. And many of these children end up being abused. Teen pregnancy can result. They sometimes will be living on the street. They just really don't have a compass or a path in their life that will help them find a way to support themselves. One of the challenges is that the cycle of poverty repeats itself. And so often a child who's abused ultimately themselves becomes an abuser. And it's not because that's what they want for their lives, it's just what they've known and what they've experienced, and they're traumatized, and out of that trauma produces more trauma. And so to break that cycle is very important, and that's where education comes in. But when that's not an option, these kids don't have that chance to have another direction or a different purpose for their life. Vocational training provides a variety of skills that are marketable. These are skills that can actually earn a young person a living. And so it's very important for a variety of those skills to be taught so that they have options. They can find an area that they enjoy the most, that they can flourish in, that they enjoy. And when they enjoy something, they want to do that, and it becomes an opportunity then that actually produces an income for them where they can survive. Not only survive, they can actually thrive.
Wangapi leo tutasimama mbele zake, tumuite Mwokozi Yesu atusaidie.
Aunyoshe mkono wake, atuponye magonjwa yetu yote ya kiroho.
Kibidula Farm is a mission. It's located in the southwestern highlands of Tanzania, East Africa. We have been blessed with springs on the farm, rolling hills. It's a beautiful piece of property. And we have asked the Lord often, why such a large piece of property? What is your plan for the mission here? And as the agricultural dream of growing and exporting avocados have evolved, together with our schools where we teach agriculture to our students, we are beginning to understand the role of agriculture in the mission that God has given to His people to finish the work.
The first thing I heard about Kibidula was avocados. And since I am the guacamole connoisseur for our family, I absolutely love avocados. So it was exciting to come here and see firsthand this massive farm that is exporting all over the world.
As we got the opportunity to tour around Kibidula, to see the different parts of the campus, the orchards, the fields, the classrooms, the processing plant itself where they actually pack the avocados for shipment, it became very clear how well run this place is. One of the other things that we noticed is that this place is very self-sustaining in the fact that they've created a culture where they're really enriching the lives of the students that they have here, and they're providing them with great training that allows them to continue on and to become part of the business themselves.
In nature, we have no example of any atom or person working by themselves. Everything works together in team efforts. And so at Kibidula, it's the very same story. Those who have come before us have started a process that we are but carrying forward to this day. In 2004, there was a very big burden on the missionaries at that time for the young person in our area, especially of Tanzania, that had dropped out of the public education system because they had failed grade 7 exams and couldn't go on to obtain secondary education. What turned out was that these young people, due to a lack of skills, due to a lack of support, the economic structure couldn't support them, would often fall into circles and patterns of delinquency, of poverty, especially of teenage pregnancy. 2012 statistics showed that Tanzania had one of the highest teenage pregnancy rates in the world. So a lot of young people were in need of a practical education, not just to train the mind, but especially the hand, and not least of all, the heart. A lot of these young people have come through very tremendous, challenging circumstances of poverty, of abuse, of neglect, of despair, just not sure why they even exist. Why are they born into such a difficult environment? Who cares? Who can give them hope? We take these young people between ages 14 to 18. They stay with us for 3.5 years until they are more able to take care of themselves, more mature, more steady, so that when they leave here at age 18 or 20, they are able to protect themselves, they are able to make wiser decisions, they are able to be self-respecting, contributing citizens of the community. And beyond that, our goal is that they actually become leaders in their community, ready to not just meet their own Lord when He comes, but to help other people have hope also, not just for today and tomorrow, but for the future.
It was impressive to hear that the majority of students that graduated most recently from the agriculture program, a 3.5-year program, were actually hired to work in the avocado industry here. In fact, I saw a young lady who was testing the water content of the avocados to make sure that they were ready, that they'd been picked at the right time to be shipped. In fact, many of these young people are in management positions in the avocado plant. It is so exciting to see a graduation from an agriculture program translate immediately into employment. I was really impressed by the holistic approach taken here at Kibidula. In fact, there's a rotation for students to experience all aspects. Of course, some things all the students can do, like growing maize or sunflowers and work in the gardens and in the fields. But there are certain roles that only involve a couple of students at a time. One is to herd livestock and to take the livestock throughout the property to graze. Another one that was most impressive to me is that of cooking the noon meal for the other students. It was really impressive to see that the meals are being prepared by students for students. I remember one young man that said, I asked him if he was a good cook, and he says, when I cook, there's no complaints. But to see them having the experience of preparing food and learning how to create healthy, nutritious meals, this will serve them throughout the rest of their lives.
So an example of what our school is about, and that has touched me personally very deeply, is the story of a young man who came to us already over the age limit at 18. But he was a very special case of a boy who, due to tragic circumstances, basically grew up on the streets. And when he came to our school, we had him go through the whole interview process where we tested his basic writing and mathematical skills. But to give him a fair chance, we also tested him on a work program, because for us, what's important is a young person that's willing to work and to show their willingness to cooperate with us and to learn new skills to support themselves. Anyway, so he tried filling in this questionnaire. We had to read a little passage and answer some basic questions in his own language. And he tried, but you can see for someone who's 18 years old, it's a very elementary handwriting, because he only made it to grade 2. Finally, he gave up, and he just made this heartfelt plea on the form, and he says, I have never learned, forgive me, but I'm asking if you could please help me. And the teacher who was grading the paper at the time used his red pen, and he wrote here, yes, for sure, we will help you. And then in the math section, he did the same plea, please forgive me, I have not learned, I need help, can you please help me? And again, the teacher answered for a second time, yes. And when I saw that, it brought tears to my eyes, because to me, it was just fulfilling why we're here, to help the least of these, to give children who have no hope, who's been left behind, to give them a hope in a future again.
So we're here visiting now to identify a path where we can be involved in helping them pursue the vision that they have to make a difference in the communities surrounding them. And so the best way that we've identified to do that is through our Operation Child Rescue Project. There are many of these children that are very vulnerable who have dropped out of school, not of their own choice, but because they can't continue their education based on their test grades. So now they have an option to pursue their education through vocational training. This agriculture school is an excellent alignment with Operation Child Rescue because these are very vulnerable children who are out of school, not having options. Many of them have gone through abusive or difficult situations, and now they have a safe place where they can begin to develop skills that will help them in the future.
A common problem in poverty-stricken areas of the world is that there isn't really a social network outside of the immediate family to take care of emergencies or crises. If a child is sexually abused, or if a child has a deformity or some kind of social stigma issue, whether it's HIV, who helps? Everyone, their life is already so burdened and so hard that there just isn't that extra energy, that extra resources to help children like this. So these children become very vulnerable. They drift. They are looking to support themselves. They will either get involved in gang violence, or they will try and sell some trinkets on the street to generate some income. Girls especially become vulnerable when they do this on the streets to survive. So our school, the main goal of having them here for 3.5 years is because we want to give them extra protection. We want them to grow up without the constant pressure of having to protect and guard themselves. We want them to expand their minds, their hearts, their vision. We want them to get a glimpse of a healthy, happy, normal life so that when they start their own homes, it's not foreign to them and they don't have to perpetuate that cycle of poverty or abuse or suffering or hopelessness.
As Child Impact, to have the opportunity to come here and to see the types of programs that they've implemented at Kibidula, it was very clear to us that this ties directly in with our mission of Operation Child Rescue, which is to work with the most vulnerable children in order to stop the cycles of generational poverty, abuse, and trauma.
At Child Impact, we believe that every child should be safe and free from exploitation. That is what Operation Child Rescue is all about. And that is exactly what we see here happening at Kibidula. The girls' dormitory is a perfect example of this, where you enter into a courtyard and all the girls' rooms are safely entered through that courtyard. The outside gate can be locked at night so nobody can access them and compromise their safety. It is rewarding to see a partner that takes child safety so seriously, to make sure that these children don't have to worry for a moment whether they're in a safe place. Our dream for these children at Kibidula is that they will be able to break the chains of generational poverty, that they will begin to write a new chapter for themselves, for their future family, and for the villages and communities that they will be a part of. I believe that these young people will be an influence wherever they go because they have a different mindset. They've been given a different reality that they can pursue. I believe that will be contagious and will have a ripple impact to many individuals in the future. Greetings, friends. Here at Kibidula, we've experienced two components of an excellent ministry partner. The first is sustainability. In this case, avocados are grown and shipped all around the world to help support this ministry. The second is vocational training. Children are given skills that will help them find employment upon graduation. But most importantly, here at Kibidula, vulnerable children, are provided a safe place where they can flourish and pursue their dreams. We are partnering through Operation Child Rescue, and we'd like to invite you to join us. You can do so at childimpact.org, select Operation Child Rescue, or you can call our office at 423-910-0667. Thank you for joining us in bringing hope to a child.